and welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And as always, your hosts are delighted to be here. I am Elizabeth Olujimi, aka the Thriving Coach, and
And
my amazing co-host.
I can't wait to introduce myself, Kirabai Kahoot, the personal transformation coach inside and out. How are you guys doing inside? Today, literally inside because it's raining outside.
So, do you mean inside as in inside the house, or inside as in the matters of the heart, the matters of the
Oh,
mind?
the matters of all things that drives you to have a good well-being. As we're going to speak about well-being today,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation. But before we do, Kirubai, tell us a bit about what you do.
all right. So, as my lovely co-host is talking about insight, which part of the insights? So, I call myself a personal transformation coach inside and out because I think our inside has to reflect on the outside. And when I say inside, meaning working with our insecurities, our traumas, our lack of confidence, things that hold us back from achieving and realizing the potential that we have on the outside. So I help women, mostly women, but I wouldn't pass a man. I love helping women and speaking, just coaching them to come out and be more assertive in some of the things that holds them back. And mostly women struggle with um, insecurities like pain, trauma, rejection, betrayal. So and and that has to translate outside. I keep um, emphasizing the fact that being the outside person, I also work with personal branding as a stylist. So
Mm.
you can be all messed up inside and try to look good on the outside. But you know something? Some or other, it can reflect on the outside. So I like to bring the two elements together, inside and out. And that's enough of me explaining. Hello, thriving coach. What do you do?
What do I do? Oh, what don't I do?
I like that.
So I do a number of things. But let me start with the main one. So the Thriving Coach, I coach people. Particularly, I coach Christian women to help them thrive with confidence in who they are, who God has called them to be, so that they can make impact, so that they can leave a legacy, so that they can fulfill their God-given purpose. So that's like my main thing. But beyond that, I am a speaker as well. So I speak at different events, and I run workshops. So sometimes the workshops are around well-being. That said, I am in Lewisham tomorrow. So if you're watching and you are in and around Lewisham, come say hi tomorrow afternoon. I'm doing a session on resilience.
Hmm.
So that should be interesting. That should be interesting. And all you need to do is come to the community space in Lewisham Shopping Centre and you'll find me there. Anyway,
What
so
time? What time? You didn't
it
say.
starts at 12:30.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
at 12:30. There's refreshments as well. So just come in, pop in. It's an informal setting. So you'll be fine. So yeah, that's what I do. But I also do a bit of social media work where I help people with social media. So I help some Christian women. I challenge them to show up and shine on social media. But I also, at the moment, help two organizations with their social media. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Oh, she's got a lot on her plate, eh? And together we do not forgetting confidence culture conversations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are not just a conversation that you tune into live on a Tuesday evening. No, we are actually a community interest company. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we are launching some workshops that we're going to be running in different parts of London. So if you're in and around London, like watch the space, look out for Confidence Culture Conversations CIC.
Hey, and then you forgot the most important event that's coming up soon,
I've not forgotten. I will bring that later on. I will bring that
because
later.
that is something you do with Tunji. You see,
Absolutely, absolutely. So
woman who wears many hats, eh?
so many, so many. So what Kiruba is alluding to is that I run a network for Christians in business alongside my husband. So the Kingdompreneurs Network. And we have an event coming up for you, 8th of June in the city of London, which you do not want to miss. So if you're in and around London, we've got some amazing speakers lined up. And tickets are currently 25% off. 25% off. So you do not want to miss it. Just like register, join us, be there, come and be part of it, because it's going to be amazing. There's some things that you do not learn until you are in the room. There's some fire that you don't catch until you are in the room. So join us and get into the room for the summit. Right. I think that's enough plugging in, Kirubai.
But
So we
no,
should
because you got, I think, one more event that you went on Saturday, which I sadly couldn't come. So speak a little bit about that event, Elizabeth.
so I went for, it was called Release the Sound. Release the Sound. So it was, if you're a Christian, you probably say that sounds very prophetic. And yes, it was very prophetic. It was organized by Apostle Debo and his wife, Pastor Liz Davies, and it was amazing. It was in, I want to say awkward, but I don't know if that's the way I would call the place. But the station we got off at was awkward. But it was a great time in God's presence. It was from the Friday all day, and then the Saturday all day, and they finished off on Sunday. We didn't join them on Sunday, but they finished off on Sunday. And it was great to be in a room with people from as far as Netherlands,
Mm.
Dubai, America. So it was really good to just interact and connect with people from different parts of the world, who, like, the common thing that brings us together is our faith. And that's very significant, because you need to be part of a community. And depending on what it is about that community, there's always a common thing in a community. So communities are because of commonalities.
Mhm.
So what's the thing that draws you to a particular community? You will usually find that there is something you have in common, and
Mhm.
that's why. So yeah, it was great to be among men and women of God who are doing some amazing thing, apostles and bishop elects. In fact, one of the ladies who was also one of the key speakers, Pastor Loretta, soon to be bishop, um, is the pastor who started the first Afro American church in Dubai.
Mm.
And
Impressive.
I think it's been running for 7 years now.
Impressive.
So when I'm in Dubai, I know where I'm going for church. So literally that was what the weekend was about. It was busy, it was full on. But there were things to learn, there were things to take away. There was a sound that was being really, it was, don't let me go into the prophet, into all of the spiritual stuff now, Kirubai. That's not what we came for.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Thank you for sharing, because I was really disappointed, but I was unwell. I wouldn't have really enjoyed myself. But I'm glad you and Tunji and little Janaya were there to receive the anointing.
Absolutely. And it was live on Facebook.
Mhm.
So I think the videos are still there on Facebook for some parts of it. So yeah, it was really good.
So,
Into the conversation.
into the conversation. And we've extended the mental well being from last week, speaking
Hmm.
about mental well being. Elizabeth, would you kickstart the conversation today?
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I thought you'd never ask. Anyway, so last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. And if
Mhm.
you joined us last week, we were talking about procrastination and how it has an impact on your mental health. You know, um, And so today we want to continue the conversation because actually May is considered as Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's interesting that we have to have a month that's dedicated to mental health awareness. But it's probably because we're not always aware of the fact that we need to look after our mental health. I remember going to an event last year, and the lady emphasized, like, we all have physical bodies, right? We're all, flesh. So we talk about physical health, and like, if your body is not well, you look after it, you do something. But what about how much more our minds? Are we looking after our minds? And that's what mental health really is. It's not, when we hear mental health, sometimes we think of it from a negative perspective. But mental health is just like, it's looking after your mental well-being. And so all of us go through different challenges with our mental health. Some of us, yes, we have developed amazing habits that help us to keep on track with our mental health, and that's great. We're going to talk about that. So if you're joining us today, I see some people on LinkedIn. So if you're joining us today, let us know in the chat, what are some of the things that you do to look after your mental health, to make sure that your mental health is where it needs to be, or that to make sure you are positively impacting your mental health. Because something as, I'm going to call it as simple as, right? Something as simple as fear, anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
that can be anxiety can be classed as mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of us receive letters in the post and we don't even want to open the letters because we're scared of what we might see on the other end of the letter. Or we see the color of the envelope, we know that this one is from HMRC. I don't want to open this one because they might be asking me to pay some more tax.
Yeah.
Or this is a bill, I don't want to open this one. And some of these things can make us anxious, and that's impacting your mental health. Anything that makes you anxious is impacting your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So the question we really want to talk about is, how do we look after our mental health? So we're going to share some statistics. Kirubai, do you have any statistics, or do you want me to read out some that I've got?
Yeah, I think that 1 in 4. I think it's a great comparison.
Yeah, let me get it out here. So there's an amazing website that you can get a lot of resources for mental health, mind.org.uk.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're joining us from outside the UK, you can still refer to the website because it's resources around mental health anyway. So let me just read you some statistics here. So 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem of some kind each year in England. 1 in 4. 1 in 4. That means if there were 4 of us in here, one of us might experience a mental health problem of some kind. 1 in 6 have, have admitted to experiencing a common mental health problem like anxiety and depression in any given week in England. 1 in 6 in a week. 1 in 6 in a week. There are other statistics around, like suicide, people committing suicide, mental health, mental health. And the sad reality is that it doesn't matter how much money you have in your account if you don't look after yourself, if you don't look after your mental health. Just like your physical health, if you don't look after your physical health, regardless of how much money you have in your account, like, you can have a problem, you can have an issue. There will come a time where you might have a problem if you don't look after your mental health. There might come a time where for example, if you are somebody who overworks and you haven't quite mastered a balance in your life, and you find that you are always tired, you find that you are always experiencing burnout. You're with people, let's say you're sitting down having a conversation with people, you're here but you're not here.
Not
You're,
present. Yeah.
you're physically present, but your mind is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Or you find that you have stopped looking after yourself the way that you need to. You don't care anymore. Things like that can impact your mental well-being. Things like that can have an impact on your mental health. So it's not something that they suffer with, and it doesn't affect us at all. As far as you are a human being with a mind, then mental health is something that you need to be conscious of.
I think we are unconsciously letting it slip,
Mm,
even though it's something that we have to be so mindful of our mental well being. And of recent years, there has been so much of awareness on social media, on television, on the newspapers, and we see billboards, we see flyers. But you know what? Whether we are turning our focus to seeing what they are telling us, they're trying to grab our attention, because this statistics, 1 in 4 in the UK, it is an alarming number, such an alarming number. And children in schools are so pressured, and they are also part of the statistics.
mm,
So, how are we going to today, as Elizabeth and I unpack, how are we really, really be mindful about our mind, mindful of our mental health? And one of the things that I think, the first thing I would like to throw into the mix is being mindful.
mm,
As much as we want to be mindful in all that we do, we have to be mindful about our mental health, mindful in the things that we are doing that might trigger of something that's not good for us,
mm,
or some incidents, some conversations can just trigger you off, throw you off balance. So all these things, you have to be mindful, as much as you be mindful of your finances. You're mindful of what you put in this mouth, your diet. You're mindful of being consciously exercising. There's so many area of mindfulness that we take it for granted.
mm, mm. As you were talking, one of the things that came to mind is just like how our day-to-day life can impact our mental health. Like if you're in a job that like you get frustrated, like, and you're getting frustrated a lot to the point that it's changing your, it's like your mood just keeps on going up and down like a ping pong. That, like, there are jobs that can impact your mental well-being. If you're, like I said before, if you're overworking, I don't know why I'm going back to this, but there might be someone listening who is overworking. They say that when you're in business, this, some people say this, I don't own it, but some people say it. They say that when you're in business, you have to work 24/7, but you don't really. You have to balance out your schedule, balance how you spend your time. And if we're going to look after our mental health, one of the things we need to be, Kirubai mentioned about being mindful, but one of the things we need to be consciously aware of is how we spend our time. What are we doing in the 24 hours that you get? What are you doing? Are all those 24 hours dedicated to pouring into others that you never pour into yourself?
Mhm.
That can impact your mental health.
Just doing something very silly, like putting on some music and dancing, which I love, or just doing something that's completely out of the job. Going back to the job, I think I need to interject something here. um, we're talking about frustration in your job. Maybe you're in a wrong job, but you're stuck there because of the salary, the finance that it supports your lifestyle. But you
Hmm.
know what? End of the day, you are killing yourself and not being satisfied and not fulfilling what you want to really do. And when fulfillment is not in the mix, it can affect your mental health.
Hmm. So, so Kirubai, let's talk a little bit about, like, let's start throwing in some habits.
Mhm.
And it could be habits that we practice or habits that we've had about. You just mentioned about like just doing something silly like listening to music or dancing. Like last week, the theme for Mental Health Awareness Week was movement.
But yeah.
So a lot of mental health organizations were encouraging people to exercise, to do something that gets them moving. And I shared a video, which actually the video was liked quite a lot. But it was a video around just going to the park, going to out in nature, taking a walk,
Mhm.
just something like that. That it doesn't have to cost you financially. It's just you taking a break from, whether it's the screen, taking a break from, just going into nature. I want to challenge you, and if you've not done it before, like one time, just go, whether it's to a park, go somewhere where it's just free, and just allow yourself to be there and just breathe in. Just breathe in, take time to just breathe in and be still. I remember actually just saying that there's so I'm originally from Uganda, and the city that my dad comes from, which I would call my village, is in the southwest corner of Uganda, next to Rwanda, and we have a lake there, and it's called Lake Bunyonyi. So if you ever go to Uganda, you have to go to Lake Bunyonyi. You have to. It's amazing. Anyway, so there's a lake there, and there is a bit of land where you can go, and you're quite high up, and you have the view of the lake, and I think you have the view in the distance of one of the mountains,
Mm.
and you've got some hills in the distance. It's an amazing view. I remember the first time I went there and I stood there, I was like, this is so peaceful. This is amazing. We all need moments like that where we pause. We need to find a place that allows us to pause, to be still, because that's good for our mental health. You can't always be working, working, working. Don't be a workaholic. Balance. Find a balance.
What
Find a balance.
they say that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So the dullness affects your mental health, man.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So something as simple as, yes, like movement, going out, finding places, but even just pausing.
Mm.
There's a couple of apps actually out there that can help you with your mental health, to manage your mental health, or help you develop habits that can positively impact your mental health. And I think there's one called Headspace or something like that. And some of the things that they encourage is just like having moments in your day where you pause and just take time to breathe in, breathe out. And when you do that, it brings a sense of calmness. I remember one time we had someone from the organization Mind came to my daughter's school, and they were having a conversation around like how to help your young kids manage their behavior. And one of the things he said is, when your child gets really agitated,
Mm.
practice some breathing exercises with them.
Mm.
It helps them to calm down. That's helping your mental health,
Yeah. Breathing.
positively impacting your mental health. Just slowing down, slow yourself down.
You know something, Elizabeth? A lot of us breathe very shallow.
Mm,
So taking deep breaths and practicing taking deep breaths actually in seconds it calms you down.
yeah, yeah.
That means breathing from your diaphragm.
I feel like doing it now. Like let's just breathe in, breathe out.
Why not?
Just breathe in, hold, breathe out. Just try it and see how you feel after you've done it. And being able to put moments like that in your day can make a difference. So slowing down your breathing can help your mental health. Another one, Kiru, by journaling.
Ah,
Do you want to take that one?
yeah, writing down your thoughts, your negative thoughts, your positive thoughts, the thoughts that you collect when you pause. I think when you put your thoughts down on paper, it helps you process, especially your negative thoughts. This is something that I try to help with my coaches, because a lot of them come with aggression in their soul. They're very angry with something or somebody, or some, even they can be angry with the universe. But when you put it down, you actually narrow it down to knowing what is the root cause of that aggression that you're going through. It's
Hmm.
all about the root cause. So journaling helps you to download your thoughts on paper, and then you can see if there's a pattern forming. You'll be able to see where your glitches are. And for mental health, it helps because you immediately will find what's irritating you, what's causing you to have this the strange feeling that you feel, that pressure. I think mental health is more so, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I please excuse me, medically, is it like a pressure that you get, or I don't know. So Elizabeth, I don't know, you have gone for some mental health training, so is it like a pressure?
What with mental health?
Yeah.
I mean, there's different things happening inside. There's different things happening in our minds.
Illusion.
And yeah, there's scientific explanations to all of them. Things going on in our minds, but something like lack of sleep.
Mm-mm. Pressure.
Lack of sleep can affect you, and if you're somebody who struggles with sleep, it's worth thinking about, well, how do I need to not get on medication? Like, that
Okay.
shouldn't be the first thing you're running to, because I think some of the mental health things that we encounter, they're natural things that we can do. I'm not saying that avoid the medication. It's entirely up to you. That's a personal decision, but there are things that you can do to help you manage your mental health.
Don't self-medicate, huh? Don't
There you go.
self-medicate.
Don't self-medicate.
Go see a professional.
So, but something like just getting ample rest. Your body needs to function, right? And if your body is going to function, it's not going to function without rest. So you need to rest. We say pausing, we say exercising, resting, journaling. It can it just allows you to slow down. It allows you to slow down. And it's so important that we slow down from the busyness of life. It's not about the rat race. Come off the rat race. Come off the rat race and look after you. One of the things that I like to say is, do things that make you happy.
Do something different
Do something different.
that you've
Yes.
never done before.
That dopamine hit is good for you. It's
Sit
good
out
for
in the
you, Bobby.
sunshine.
If you got sunshine, if you got sunshine, take some time to sit in the sunshine. Like, if that's the thing that works for you, or even something like just reading a book.
Or having a pet, a goldfish maybe. No, I think pets are lovely.
Mm,
All this furry animals, they kind of calm you down. When you stroke, you feel so loved. A lot of people have mental breakdown when they feel they're not loved enough.
mm.
So when you have furry pets, it kind of give you comfort and love through your animals.
And life's experiences can also impact our mental well-being.
Hmm.
Life's experiences can impact us, and it can lead to, when you experience trauma, how do you recover from the trauma? How do you bounce back from that trauma? The thing that you do in between, that's positively impacting your mental well-being. So things like, counseling, getting therapy, it can be good for you. It can be good for you to help you deal with the issues of the past that might be causing anxiety, or that might be triggering you, because that's it. There's something that will come and trigger, and it can just negatively impact you.
Find someone you can trust to speak. Somebody who is not going to judge you, who you can just speak your mind and speak and pour out your heart to someone, and that will help. You know, do not isolate yourself, because
Yeah.
that's the first thing that will trigger you off to do, is to isolate.
Mm,
But you have to be in a community, in a place of trust, and a place where you can talk and share your way you feel.
mm.
Don't forget, 1 in 4 people. So don't forget, every other person can be going through their own struggles, and you might meet someone you can share your experience, and they might share their experience. The time to share and help each other.
Yeah.
So don't suffer alone.
Don't suffer alone. That's it. That's it. If there's something you take away, don't suffer alone. And just don't be shy to raise up your hand and say, I need help. I need help. And if you're watching today and you find yourself in that place, reach out and maybe we can point you in the right direction.
A lot of people, I find, who struggle with this is also people who like to internalize everything.
Mm,
So that's why uh, an activity like journaling, taking a pause and reflecting in a place where there is no noise, and peace, your peace and tranquility by a river, like a Cassandring river. Or we live in London. Where's the nearest? We have the River Thames, or there's some brook somewhere, or go into a park or a forest and just concentrate and look at the trees. They speak to you. I find, walking in the park and looking up into the trees and watching those parakeets. Oh my God, the noise they make, it really puts a smile on my face. I'm always stopping and I'm saying, oh, look at the parakeets, all these lovebirds. They always travel in pairs. But that even how stressful I am, it puts a smile on my face.
yeah,
This so
like walking
happy.
around and seeing flowers just blossoming.
Yeah, now it's the season, no? The season to see all the flowers.
Yeah, it does something. Like we might not, you might not be able to see what's going on in your mind, and maybe doctors can help us to understand what goes on in the mind in that sense. But like being able to, those little things that make you happy, that's good for your well-being. That's good for your well-being. And also I was going to say, like, finding an activity, like whether it's a hobby. Last week I had the pleasure of having some boxing training, and I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed it. But something like that, an activity like that. And I remember years ago I used to play netball. I was part of a netball team. So little activities like that, they're good for you. They're good for you. It's part of physical exercise, and physical exercise helps. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it to the point that your body breaks, or to the point that you're putting too much pressure on yourself. But it helps to be, physically active. Kiruba, I don't know if I told you, but while you were away, I got a call from BBC.
Lovely.
And this is the story behind it. So there's a group on Instagram called Thriving Stockwell. Now I live not so far from Stockwell, so I'm like, let me follow them, see what they're up to. And because I like talking about thriving, if there's something thriving in my area, I want to know. So they put up an advert saying the BBC was looking for some people, and they were going to run a show around well-being, and they were going to help people with their well-being. And I thought, hey, let me apply for this. Let me put my name in the hat. And so I did. I applied for it, and I got a call. In fact, they'll be filming next week, I think, or the
Oh,
end of
good
this
for
week,
you.
they'll be doing the filming. But I got a call, right? And as the gentleman was talking, I realized that actually I am not their candidate, because he was like, so tell me a bit about your life. And I told him, and he's like, sounds like you're already looking after your well-being. It's like, it seems you've already got it sorted. And I was like, well, we're all trying, isn't it? But they were looking for people who are like stressed out with life.
Mm.
people who are really struggling. And I was like, look, like one of the things that we do as a family, we do a lot of walking, whether it's walking in open spaces, walking in closed communities, but just walking, that has a positive impact on our well-being. And it's interesting because, like, most of the times we'll walk to Janaya's school. By the time we get her to school, she's happy chappy, like she's so excited. She's not like the kids who are coming in who are half asleep. She's wide awake, she's excited for the day. And that helps, just being able to walk in the in the coolness of the day, or the start of the day, whatever it is. That can make a good difference. And there's different things that we can do, because also, remembering that our bodies can function differently. It's finding the thing that works for you, because I might say this, but it doesn't quite hit the spot for you. Maybe that activity makes you anxious,
Mm-hmm.
so actually don't bother doing that activity if it makes you anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But finding the one that will work for you, and help you to have that sense of that relaxed feeling, that calm feeling, and not having to overly like stress yourself out. Anything that stresses you out, don't don't fill up your day with activities that stress you out. If you know you have a busy day that's going to be, like, you already predict this day is going to be stressful, go into your day and put little intervals in the day where you either go out for some air, take a little walk, go to the toilet and back, go get a cup of tea, or take the moment to breathe. Just pause, and don't allow yourself to be non-stop like a what's it called, a guinea pig, going round and round,
Hamster, hamster.
a hamster. That's it, a hamster. But yeah, Kirubai, do you have any more that you want to throw in there?
Yeah, we're talking about stress. Sometimes people around us can stress us out. So people who are toxic, keep
Mm,
away from them, because they are they might be there just to irritate and pull you down morally. You know,
mm,
so embracing company that builds your morals, embracing connections that will benefit you. It might be transactional, but you know what, it benefits you from not being with a toxic circle of friends, because
mm,
people can pull you down, but there's also some very good connections where they can build you up in your confidence, in your trust levels, in your dopamine levels. People you can laugh with, have a pint, have a run,
mm.
go for a park run, and later just join for some drinks, or just keep with some positive people who can build you up and not tear you down.
That's very true, because there's some people that from the minute they walk into the room, you're like, oh no. You're like, oh no, and already like your heart is even going faster, like boom, boom, boom. You want to run away from them or find the quickest exit out of the room. And so just being able to avoid getting yourself into those scenarios or those situations, where like things are stressing you. And Kiruba, you mentioned earlier on about being mindful,
Hmm.
and it's that thing, it's the awareness, it's being conscious. It's not turning a blind eye. Don't turn a blind eye to your mental health. Actually do things about it. Like our faith, your faith can be a great foundation to help with your mental health, depending on how you're exercising your faith, obviously. But your faith can be a great pillar for your mental health as well.
And to throw in another word is, I spoke about it briefly, but diet, drinking drinking water,
Yeah.
hydrating your whole body
Mm-hmm.
is so important for your mental health. Eating the right food, taking the right supplements,
Mm,
helps your mental well-being. Water and food and supplements, it brings the right chemistry to your body.
yeah.
Mm. Especially vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a country where we hardly see the sun, so we need to take vitamin D supplements throughout the year to keep our mood in balance,
Mm,
and that helps the chemistry of the body.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? It's you mentioned about having people that you can talk to, and
Mhm.
I also touched on like community. Um, one of the things that helps with community is being able to like look out for each other.
Mhm.
And if you see someone struggling, just reaching out to them and just like, I just want to check in.
Mhm.
Are you good? And we have become a society where we say to somebody, are you okay? Are you, we ask, how are you? But we're not necessarily expecting them to open up
Mm.
and say how they're actually doing. Sometimes we're just doing how are you as a courtesy, and we
Mm.
move on to the next thing. But actually, you could ask somebody, how are you? And are you ready to sit down if they decide to open up and express how they are? Yesterday as we were walking somewhere, a young lady stopped. Well, she sort of whispered to say, do you have any change? And we didn't have any cash on us, we didn't have any change on us. So I said, we sorry, we haven't got any. And she kind of just went like, and it's like she just wanted to cry. And so I turned around to her and I was like, are you okay? She didn't look like she was okay, but I say, like, what's going on? Like, what do you need? I tried to have a conversation with her. Um, but she shut down, she closed, she didn't want to talk. And there was nothing I could do for her. Like I say to her, if it's food you need, let's go somewhere and buy you the food because I don't have the cash on me. Um, but she was, whether it was a case of she was embarrassed, and because before she had said, food, water. So I said, so what food do you want? Let's go get the food. And she's like, forget about it, don't worry, I just need money, I just need money, money, money. And I'm like, so, but she closed. So in the end, the conversation was going nowhere, and so we just left her and walked away.
Probably she wanted a quick fix, huh?
I don't know, she looked really distressed.
Okay.
She looked distressed. So there's a backstory to it,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
wasn't ready to talk.
Mm.
So we need to find safe spaces in the workplace where we can talk, safe spaces in our communities, in our churches, safe spaces, in our homes, where we can have these conversations, where people can be able to say, look, I'm struggling. Because for some of us, there's some thoughts that we keep on, ruminating on in our minds, and we don't realize how these thoughts are negatively impacting us. When someone is feeling suicidal, it starts in there, it starts as a thought,
Mm.
and it manifests itself into like it becomes an action that they take, sadly. And so it's being able to find safe spaces where you can open up. I think one of the things that COVID did for us, and I'm going to say in a positive way, is that it brought the mental health awareness conversation kind of
Mhm.
to the forefront. I think for me, I started hearing a lot more
Mm.
about mental health awareness, and so let's not ignore the fact that we need to look after our mental health. Let's not ignore. Let's be people who are aware, and also look out for the people in your close circle. Look out for the people in your close circle, because the people who are committing suicide, they're someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's child, someone's parent. But they just felt they couldn't take it anymore. So finding a safe space, but also being a safe space.
So what you're saying is be your brother's keeper.
Be your brother's keeper, but look after yourself too.
Mm.
because that's important. You can be helping so many people, but if you're not looking after yourself, then therein lies another problem. Lies another problem. So we've mentioned a couple of, habits that you can like implement. Just taking moments in your day to pause, resting more, doing things that make you happy, exercising, hobbies. I was speaking to somebody the other day and I walked away feeling sad for her, because we were having a conversation, and like she said, she's a stay-at-home mom. She just does nothing. Like she does nothing. She's doing nothing with her life. And she's got a daughter. She drops the daughter off at school. After that, she just goes home. If she's tired, she'll sleep a little bit. Then she'll wake up. Then she'll do nothing. And I'm like, do you have friends that you can go and see? Are there activities? There's community activities that you can get involved in. Like, just do something for your mental well-being. Like, keep yourself. Find something. Find an activity, because it's going to help your mental health. Because sometimes you can sit in a space, and the Bible says an idle mind is the devil's workshop. When your mind is not occupied, be sure something is going to come and occupy it. Something is going to come and occupy it. So find something that's going to occupy your mind and have a positive impact on your mind. Read a book, listen to a podcast, meet a friend for coffee, have a conversation.
Try a new recipe. Come on.
Yeah, cooking can be good. Cooking can be fun. It can be fun. So finding opportunities, and being mindful means that we have to be intentional. It means we have to be intentional. And like we talk about, like even screen time, spending less time on the screen, spending less time on social media, spending less time working on a computer desk. Take walks, go away, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be there constantly 24/7. It's not good for you. We're in a time and space where our young people are spending a lot of time on the screen. We need to nurture our young people in such a way and help them to understand that there is more to life than being on the screen. There is more to life than hours and hours and hours gaming. There's more to life than hours and hours on social media. Come off the screen. Do an activity that engages your mind, engages your arms, your legs, gets you moving. Gets you moving. Go for a walk every so often. Stop and breathe. Get a journal. Pray. Dance. Find a hobby, whatever it is that works for you. And it might not even be that you want to do journaling, but maybe you discover that you're a bit of a writer. Write something. But find something that is going to help you. That's you being mindful. That's you being intentional. Take action on it. Do it. Self-care. The things that we talk about when we talk about self-care, it helps your well-being, your mental well-being. It has a positive impact on it. So don't go through the week just chasing after the pound, the dollar, whatever it is you're chasing after. Good health, good well-being, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial, all those aspects. They're so important, because at the end of the day, if your physical health is not where it needs to be, it's going to impact your mental well-being. If your financial status, financial well-being is not where it needs to be, it's going to negatively impact your well-being, your mental well-being. If you are not emotionally well, it's going to impact your mental well-being. So it's looking after you holistically. Look after you holistically. You can't just say, oh, I do exercise, but do nothing else. No. Find people to talk to. Ask for help. And if somebody reaches out to you and they need help, Signpost if you don't know the answer. Like, if you don't know, you don't have to pretend to be an expert. If
We
you
are
don't
not.
know the answer, signpost them. Say, this is some information that I found. If you want to, I can come with you to go to this place to make this phone call. Like, I can come with you if you want me to. Because some people, that's what they need. They just need somebody to hold their hands on that journey. So find trusted people that you can have around you, people that you can talk to and be open to. Because the reality is that life happens. Life happens to all of us. We said earlier on, traumatic experiences can impact you. What do you do when trauma hits you? Because that trauma will impact your mental well-being. Kirabai, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think I've said my piece here. It's a very sobering talk and sharing today, but that's what it is. It's the reality. When reality hits you, we need to go and look for help.
Hmm. Yeah, there's no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in asking for help. Right. I think we are going to close.
Mhm.
But definitely, like, keep looking after your mental health, and help others to look after their mental health. So if there's activities that you could do with somebody, or you know that you can tell somebody about, that they can get involved in with, and don't think that this mental health conversation is not for you. It's a conversation everybody needs to have, because we all have a mind. So whether you're in a church, in a faith-based community, whether you're family, whether you're just in your local community. I said last week that my neighbor, just my next door neighbor, took her own life late last year. And that impacted people on the street. It affected their mental health, because some people were really stressed about it. It made them really anxious. And decisions, even coming to a point where we're making decisions, sometimes those things like that can impact our mental well-being. So if you need help, whether it's from a therapist, help from a psychiatrist, help from a mentor, a coach, you just need friends around you, whatever it is, reach out and get that help, get that support that you need. Look after yourself. Do things that fill up your cup. And on that note, I need you to fill up your cup by coming to the Kingdompreneurs Summit 2024, which is happening on 8th of June. It's going to be in and around London. So do register. I will share the link for you to register. I must say, you do not want to miss it. I know that I am already biased in saying it's going to be an amazing event, because obviously I am part of, I'm one part of those who are hosting. So it's going to be great. Honestly, like, you won't regret it. You won't regret being in the room for the Kingdompreneurs Summit. Kirubai will be there. I'll be there. So if anything, you can come and meet us, because you've been seeing us online. It's an opportunity for you to come and meet us, and we can have a conversation. But definitely register, take advantage of the 25% off offer, and join us. And if you have a business or a product or service that you would like to promote, there's an opportunity for you to also be a vendor at the summit. So you can attend, you can be a vendor. Alternatively, you can also just sponsor the event if you'd like to. Why not? Every little help counts, so you can sponsor the event as well. So, if you're part of a church community, please help us spread the word. Let them know about it. It's a few weeks away and it's going to be amazing. It can be a weekend away in London. My parents are planning to come, so hey, you better be there. So my parents are planning to come. So they're doing it as a weekend away from Bristol. coming to London to support us. So we're looking forward to that. We're really excited because the bishop is in town. anyway, Kiruba, I think we're done.
So we'll see you next week. Looking forward to another exciting chat and discussion on. We've not chosen the topic yet, but we'll come up with something exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, next week is going to be the last one in May, isn't it?
Yeah.
The last Tuesday in May. So we will come up with something. Or if there's a conversation you'd like us to have, a topic you'd like
Yes.
us to address, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we will endeavor to see how we can fit that conversation in. Right. God bless you all, and speak soon, or see you soon even.
Bye-bye.